أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. I begin, as I always begin, in the name of Allah, whose grace I seek in this and all other matters. Well, it's time for the altar update. We are currently at the new moon in Leo, a sun sign, and as such, I am starting with this bright orange cover that I have because it reminds me of the fire signs. I'm also going to add a candle on each end as I start the altar build-up. Because the elements play very strongly in my notion of what is sacred and divine, and that is that we are negotiating in the world between real life elements that make up the world that we live in. And in their unity, in their tawheed, they help us to increase our awareness of how we ourselves are made from these elements, and that we are a unity of our own masculine and feminine. And so when I do my altar updates, one of the features of the altar update for me is to simply interact with these individual elements on a monthly basis as an affirmation of their merit and their significance. All of the shells and the corals that I use in my altar are ones that I picked myself from various beaches around the world. I think it's important to interact with those elements wherever we find them on the planet. My amethyst sphere is always one of the elements of the divine feminine that plays prominently, as you know. I also have Ujnisha Vijaya. Just recently learned her correct name. Someone had told me something else. These two feminine elements, I think I'm going to put them closer to the sphere. Let's see if we make the feminine side a little stronger. In our small group sessions, so certain elements, stones and shapes, in my mind are more masculine. In our small group breakout sessions, I talked about the need for giving care to our spiritual space and time, to give it attention and sounds and smells and things to feel. So according to Chinese cosmologies, 3 colors represent prosperity, and I put it with the envelope that I talked about when I talked about gratitude this month on my update. So if you haven't seen it, you might want to look at that. This time I'm going to purposely put them on the feminine side, because I'm actually going to do a masculine feminine side today. I see that's unfolding. Because each of these elements have a history. This is not only the hand of Fatima, which I love so much, but this particular one is from Jerusalem, and it has Hebrew letters in it, which is my grandson's name, Chaim, so to life. And you know, the elephant is my spirit animal. I have them all over my house. And then this little one is on the altar. And so I'm going to take my two heart shapes, things in twos, have to do with relationships. And I combine the stones from the earth with feathers from the air. So again, just a reminder about the elements. Um, and I don't have a living altar, but every day I go out on a walk. And when I'm out on my walk, I collect blossoms, which I then put into a flat bowl in order to every day have a daily update, even if it's not a living altar. So a living altar would be one that you actually put together and take apart every day or for an event. Sometimes people come for an event, and what they do is each participant in the event offers something from their own repertoire to establish their presence at the event, and also to sort of, yes, give their sacred energy, to cherish it, to bless it, etc., etc. The Celtic cross, again, is from my my Irish ancestors. And I did mention that I have I recently visited again this healer that I saw, and he gave me a dua, and that dua I put on the altar with specific stones that I've actually collected at places where I've been, because I see the idea of things that you manipulate for their sacred value, whether they be precious stones, gemstones, or just regular stones. I see these as part of, you know, again, this reminder of the sacred everywhere and all times. I had a really interesting cave experience last year, and I took this from the cave to remind me, because I was there with a group, and that included people who were very familiar with the cave and the surroundings from their earlier teachers. And so they came with, you know, flashlights. We walked through and we slipped and we fell, and it was wet and it was dark, and et cetera, et cetera. But eventually I asked them to leave me, lighting an incense today because it's auspicious. Eventually they asked me to, I asked them to let me just have the space to myself, which they didn't. They actually accompanied me. And I just wanted to sit in the absolute blackness, dark of the cave, because it's something you don't really get to experience all the time. There's always some kind of lights that go on. So when I blew out the incense, I blew out my candle, and I want this to burn all day long. So there we go. The altar update for the month of Muharram, and also for the sign of Leo. And I hope you enjoyed sharing this experience with me, and that you will likewise think about ways in which you can affirm the sacred in your own space by a small or big altar. Even something that seems small or insignificant that you cherish can become something that affirms the same thing. So, for example, my youngest sister, before she passed away, she sent me this little card for the holiday season. She chose not to use the word Christmas because, you know, I didn't do Christmas. She just, you know, happy holiday greeting. And because she had so much positive energy and love, I considered this as another kind of sacred offering, which I keep on my dresser with another elephant head, because of course, you know, I always have to have the elephant. So just a way to remind us that the sacred is everywhere, and we are at one with it. And when we remember that, then the sacred remembers us. So have a blessed month. See you next new moon.